Hi, Devina. Hi, good morning. Welcome to ET Now. Shine on the Lady Luck. 6 points away now, Devina, from the all-time high on the Nifty.
Right. So, of course, unfortunately, if you go stock by stock, the picture is not as sanguine as the indexes make out to be, because this time the market was very narrow. Up to August, it was extremely narrow. It was not even 10% stocks outperforming the Nifty. And while it has broadened since then, I think still about half the stocks are down more than 20% from their highs. So, while the Nifty is uh, almost there for the new high, I'm sure for a lot of your viewers, their portfolios may not be near the new highs.
But it's happened, Devina. I guess the Nifty was just waiting for you to come on screen. It's happened. There we are. The Nifty has hit a record high.
Where are the balloons and the confetti?
It's already there on the screen. The bulls are back, and it's taken a long time. I mean, 1 year and 2 months. It's been a long wait. We're calling it the 27 effect, if you will. The last time that we did have that all-time high was on 27 September 24, and today as well, 27th November 25. So the Nifty does have, Kunal, something with the 27 number.
Yeah, and I hope it just
Totals to 9. I don't know what's the connection here.
it's considered lucky, yeah, but I think it's very good. It's finally off the cards that we've hit that lifetime high levels for the indices. Now I think that the smooth journey should start off for the indices going forward, hopefully.
So Kunal, early weekend party this time?
Yeah, of course. I think the
Party's
next
on
half
Kunal today. But yeah, Devina, like Kunal is saying, that the one bit is done, that the box has been tick marked. But what next? What should investors be doing next? Because, like you said, at an individual portfolio level, if you look at some of the mid and the small caps, or even, a large part of the large caps, people are still under on their portfolios.
Yes, that's the thing. As I said, so in a normal market, about 40% of the stocks outperform. As I said, in August, it was that narrow that it was about 10%. Now it's broadened a bit, but still the number of outperforming stocks, or the proportion of outperforming stocks, is still small. And which is also a reflection of the mad bull run you had in small caps and micro caps in 2024. So at that time, I was warning people that that this kind of mad bull run in small caps doesn't last that long. But at that time, the mood was so buoyant that it was that the 30% compounding is being conservative. I mean, I actually had people tell me that we are looking not for very high numbers. 30% compounding will be fine with us. I said, that is an unrealistic expectation. But that was the mood. And in terms of the mood or sentiment, I always say that, and this is not something that's come from me, it's a outcome of many research studies around the world, that the mood or the sentiment is a contraindicator. So when there is excess buoyancy that was there in the first 3 quarters of 2024, the next period returns are below normal. So you had a whole samvat where the indexes also did not give returns, so the individual stocks did worse. And when you are kind of fearful, anxious, thinking SIP band kar de, what should I get out of the market? That's when the next period returns are above normal. So the real superpower is to remain invested when you are feeling low, and maybe look at booking some profits when you are feeling euphoric.
Devina, if you look at the last 1 year or 14 months, the financials which have been driving this entire market, do you see enough steam left in the financials? And you also have a sizable portfolio exposure to financials as well.
Actually, we've increased our bank exposure, especially PSU bank exposure.
Get back to her and talk about where she is seeing opportunity. But Kunal, the one sector do you think that's going to lead the market higher from here in the next lap of the Nifty move?
So I think we've been dependent on Bank Nifty to do that for a good part over the last 2-3 months. But now it's starting to show signs that autos are making a comeback for themselves. And you have large cap names over here, Maruti, M&M, etc., which have been looking very strong on the charts. And I think these are the kind of names which I believe could help the markets move up higher to the next leg. And the two other large cap names, which you generally don't talk of in the same, at least over the last many weeks, and that's L&T as well as Reliance. I think both of these stocks are also making a very strong comeback for themselves. L&T has already made a life highs, Reliance very close towards a life high for itself. So that I believe could be another prospect which can aid the market further.
Well, right now I can see it's really autos and yes, and metals all the way. Look at Nalco, look at SAIL, look at Hindalco. That's where the big meaningful move has really come in. But I think Devina is back with us. Devina, you were making the point as to whether or not you see financials leading the charge going forward too.
So as I said, we have increased weightage through this year, but we're not overweight. But we talked about the banks doing very well this year. But if you go back 5 years, so if you look at 2020, banks were about the only sector in the negative. 21, I think Nifty went up 22%, banks went up 11%. So it has underperformed in 20, 21, 23, 24. So in the previous 5 years, the only year when banks outperformed the index was 2022, and that was the last time we were market weight on banks. So it's been a long period of underperformance. It's coming out. It came out of that this year. So that was kind of expected. And even now, if you look at most PSU banks, for instance, they are not even trading at one-time book or are around one-time book. So it's not as if that they've become excessively expensive. The credit book has got somewhat cleaned up. So in a kind of sector doesn't remain an underperformer forever. So I mean, right now I think it's not reached the peak yet of this move. That's my opinion.
Still see, you spoke about the valuation for PSU banks, but do you still see enough for headroom for these banks to run up, like an SBI or a BOB or a PNB?
Different banks, I mean, SBI is a little more expensive on a price to book than some of the others. So you have to look at it bank by bank. But I'm saying as a pack, it is not as if that they are excessively expensive still. But I always repeat, I'm a very nervous investor in banks and lenders. It is, except that it is the largest weight in the benchmark, so it's not something you can ignore. I would have been happy if it was a small weight and I could completely ignore it. But it is such a large weight that you can't ignore it. But I mean, it's an inherently risky business, no getting away from that.
And what about IT and consumption? Trend, down nearly 20-25% since,
Within consumption, we are more on the FMCG side. So 2025, every rebalance our systems have liked FMCG companies, and we are overweight FMCG now. So that we are still comfortable with. That's been kind of the change this year. Has been some additions in banks, some additions in chemicals at one stage, and FMCG. Some of the other overweight positions we've been carrying from last year, which is pharma, healthcare, and auto components. So we've added in autos also in the year. As far as IT is concerned, we are slightly overweight, not hugely overweight. It's just marginally overweight. And in this rebalance, the most recent rebalance, we have switched a bit from some of the large cap IT to mid cap IT.
Okay, that's great.
Again, that sector was a job for a very long time. So, some point that changes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's quite the bottom-up story as well. Not much to lose, if not much to gain, kind of a case right now with IT. But Devina, great to have you on the show today, and you've been the lucky mascot.
I already have a party scheduled for Saturday, so I was already set.
Great, enjoy that one. Let's also welcome